Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm disappointed that none of you have dressed up for Halloween. And Naveed's got a wand. I'll just give people a couple of minutes because it's not quite 10 o'clock yet. Naveed, if you're talking to us, we can't hear you, love. You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, is that better? Can you hear me
That's
now?
better, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, Tracy cast a spell.
I can do that without a hat.
Oh, I know. I've worked with you. I'm going to go and grab a brew. 2 seconds.
Okay. Just to let you all know, I might have a visitor this morning. My boss has decided, because she's never been to a Burnley Linked meeting, she wanted to sit in for half an hour. So she might just turn up next to me. So I'm just letting you know, just in case you think, who's that strange woman sat next to Tracy? It's my boss. People are coming in now. Morning, Usma. You're on mute.
Sorry, just came in. Takes me a minute to get settled, doesn't it? Morning, everyone. Morning, Tracy. Love the hat.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What hat? What are you talking about, Usma?
Got your old hairdo, that one, isn't it?
But we'll get started in a sec. I'm just going to say the usual as well. This is being recorded for YouTube purposes. So anybody that's not here can watch what antics we get up to. So if you don't want to be seen on YouTube, please do. You're more than welcome to turn your camera off. It's not a problem. So no, not everybody is like me and likes to be the star of the show. So I think we'll get going. It's 1 minute past 10. So anybody else that comes in, I'll let them in as we go along. So welcome everybody. I'll just say it again. If anybody wants to turn the camera off because they don't want to star on YouTube, because this is recorded and uploaded onto YouTube, they are more than welcome to. And they can keep it off even if they speak as well. It's not a problem. So welcome, Halloween edition of Burnley Linked. Good to see you all. We did People of Pendle on Monday and it were a bit quiet. So I think some people are still away after half term and there's various things going on, I think. So we might not be as full as we usually are. But we'll set off straight away. We've got 2 guest speakers now. David Rogers from Integrated Care Board was a guest speaker on People of Pendle and didn't turn up. So I'm hoping he's going to turn up today, but if he doesn't, I'm sure we can fill the time as we normally do, because we never short how we have stuff to say. So I think we'll start with Megan. Are you okay if I chuck you in? Yeah. So I'm going to ask Megan as one of our guest speakers. Megan, do you need to share your screen or anything?
No, I'm just happy just to talk.
Okay.
That's fine. So my name's Megan. I'm the Thrive Partnership Coordinator at Calico. So our project is a fairly new project. We're in phase 1.5 of the project at the minute. So we've just done phase 1, which were a research and testing phase. So the aim of our project is to create better pathways to help the young people in Burnley get into employment and make that sustainable for them. So we're looking at 3 different areas within that. So thriving employment, thriving education and thriving the community. So recently we've been going into schools, doing bits of employability skills, CV building, one-to-one sessions with some of the students. We've also been reaching out to employers to see why they might not be employing young people, or what the barriers are that they think they might be facing. Along with that, trying to dig into employers' processes, like the recruitment process as well. Is that adapted and suitable for young people, especially young people who are neurodivergent, or young people who are at risk of becoming NEET, so not in education, employment or training? And our other aspect is looking within the community, so meeting the young people where they are, where they tend to frequent. So there's not that barrier of them having to come into a service all the time, and creating that central one-stop shop, if you will, where they can access all of that support. Sorry, that's just our fire alarm test.
We've been there, Megan. If you need to evacuate, please do.
No, it's all right. It's just our test. So yeah, that's us in a nutshell. We've actually got a meeting this afternoon which will provide me with a bit more context on the next action steps. So does anybody have any questions?
I do, if that's all right, Megan.
Yeah.
Just out of interest and just nosiness, really, what kind of barriers have you found that employers have for employing young people?
So there's a lot of misconception around our young people that they don't want the jobs. A lot of it tends to be laziness, they think, or they just don't have that same work ethic, which we're trying to challenge. I think a lot of it they're thinking, oh, they just want to be with their mates, or they might not be a good investment. Not all employers are thinking like that, but that's the message that we've got off young people and off employers. You can see the hesitation there. So we're challenging that to create that systemic change all the way down and change that sort of power dynamics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I suspected it might be as much, to be honest.
Yeah.
The apprentice, when I were young, there were apprentice schemes. I know there's an apprenticeship scheme now, but there were apprenticeship schemes, and all the major employers employed apprentices.
Yeah.
Do you think that would help now if all the major employers had a proper apprenticeship scheme? I know it did with such like as my brother, who was the last in the line before they stopped all the apprenticeships. I know because he's a qualified engineer now, he's got a great job, and he wouldn't have done that without that apprenticeship. So I'm just thinking, if they did have things like that, I mean, there were things like factories and industry, there were a lot of that in Burnley and Pendle particularly, and Rosendale when I were growing up. So there were a lot, of jobs out there, but it's not the same now. So it must be really difficult for young people to find a job that, that they like, they want to stay in.
Yeah, we're finding that a lot of our young people tend to feel like they need to move out of Burnley to find employment, and we don't want that to be happening. A lot of them don't know where to go to access that support, what opportunities are actually out there. So, for example, one of the areas that we're looking at with us going into schools, we're going into alternative provisions. So we're looking at students who might not necessarily get the grades, because we know they might not need these grades. If all training's provided, why do they need those grades? You're creating a barrier. Yeah. So let's remove that. So what we're looking at doing is placing them in a work placement, maybe one day a week or for a portion of the school time. So they've got that hands-on experience, and it creates that work experience and a further opportunity for them to maybe have a job guaranteed at the end of it when they've been through school.
Yeah. So like we used to do work experience. I'm sorry, I can only talk from what I know. When I were at school many moons ago, we did work experience, and it was kind of a taster. I think I want to do this. So go and work for a fortnight in. I mean, I went and worked in a primary school. I've never been near any children at all since then. It must have put me off for life. But I worked in a primary school, and it was lovely. I was teaching, you know, the reception class to read, and it was so rewarding and so lovely. I didn't end up going down that path, clearly. But I think I do think schools have a lot to answer for as well, Megan. I think they put a lot of pressure on young people to choose what they want to do for the rest of their lives, and it's not true. It's not true. You can change. You know, I've been really lucky in my working life. I've dropped into some great jobs and worked with some brilliant people. I'm Genevieve, and that that has actively encouraged me to kind of not go down a certain path, but do what I'm good at. And it's led to jobs, you know, in that way. You know, I've got a niece that's 16 at the moment, and she's being pushed into childcare, you know, that social care. Why? She's never shown any interest in that before, and you don't get told about jobs like an archaeologist or a research assistant, or you know, these, you know, astronaut or whatever. You don't get told about any of that. It's just, you have to do this, and this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life, and it's just not true.
Yeah.
Go
There's
on, Megan.
definitely, sorry, go on, Naveed, sorry.
It's okay, Megan. I was just going to say it is difficult because things haven't changed much, but the provisions are better. Access to information is better. You've got more people. I mean, when I worked in a college and gave careers advice, sadly, half of Rochdale is walking around with wrong jobs. Yeah, because of me. They've actually, it was always girls went into care and the boys went into joinery and motor vehicle or any kind of boyish stuff. And there's been a big where my concern is for a picture for Burnley is looking at myself. It's having people stepping into our roles going forward, and I think that's where the big gaps will be. Well, people who deliver stuff in the community, who manage community centres, who are actually delivering hands-on stuff that's making a difference in people's lives frontline. So it's your statutory service, but it's your community sector as well. There's very little people coming forward to take over them roles and come and take them positions to help people with welfare advice, help people do community engagement, you know, and there's a lot of learning we can take from young people, and it's about our services opening that. When we tend to get work placements, it tends to be very last minute, you know, the school just needs a placement and it might not be something that somebody wants to do, which takes away from that young person spending valuable time to learn what they want to get into, but also takes away from the organisation trying to deliver the work that they want to do, having to take the time, you know, to show a person something knowing that they're not interested in it. So it's a difficult one. So good luck to you, and let us know if we can help you and work with you on that. So
thank you. So I think that's the aim, is just to have everybody in constant communication so we can come together and create those pathways together to make it more accessible and readily available for the young people in Burnley, so they're not feeling like they have to look elsewhere or they don't know what they're doing, because it's really daunting when they come out of school and, like you said, Tracy, they're told that they have to go and do this, and why is it done that way?
Yeah, I think the schools do have a lot to answer for. I think the colleges have a lot to answer for as well. Years ago, Naveed, do you remember, John, just one sec, John, I'll come to you, just one sec. Do you remember, Naveed, years ago, we used to go and talk in primary schools to the ones that were transitioning into high school about the job that we did and how we got here. So it gave them an idea that you don't have to go down the road that the school's kind of pushing you down. You can change, and you can swap and change your job role, and you know, that kind of stuff. So John, sorry.
Hello, Megan. I'm John from Christians Against Poverty. Mainly, we started as a debt, helping people with debt, but that's not what I want to share with you. And I'm not sure this is relevant, but we also run what we call Cap Money, which helps people, and we're increasingly helping young people to budget and to arrange their finances in a better way. They don't get any, as far as I know, the national curriculum doesn't work, doesn't do this in schools. But we are increasingly helping people, showing them how to budget, and it's just a short course, a few sessions. I'm not sure that's relevant to you, Megan, but just so you know, that it's there and available.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's something that we could potentially use within the projects we're doing in the schools at the minute, especially with young people having an interest in becoming self-employed. I think that could be really useful for them as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, John.
Okay.
I also think, speaking from an employer's point of view, and as a charity that is funded to do certain things, so money's pretty tight and time is always at a premium. We would find it really difficult, and have found it really difficult. We've had one apprentice, and we know that it's unfair not to spend quite a bit of time with them. So is there any support for employers, such as us, that would be willing to, have a work placement or for a few days or whatever? But it's really difficult for us to have the time and the capacity to do that.
Yeah. So I suppose it's us taking things like this away and looking at how much sort of hand-holding can we do, and working with other services that are already involved. So like the schools, family comes into it, and the caregivers of young people as well, because they play an important part. If they're not getting that support at home, it's not going to flow as nicely as we think it should. So yeah, that's something that we will be looking at, is incentives for employers almost, and how that can work. So Matt, our employer liaison officer, that's going to be more of his remit, and I think he's working on something at the minute. But again, with this meeting that we're having this afternoon, that will fall into place after that, and I'll keep you updated with that as well, Tracy.
Fab, thanks, Megan. Thank you. There was another thing I was going to say, but brain fog's taken over and I can't remember. So when I do remember, Megan, I'll whiz you an email.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't think what we're going to say now. Anyway, anybody else got any questions, suggestions, comments for Megan? She's going to a big meeting this afternoon, so any information I'm sure is welcome that she can feed in.
No? I suppose anything with any work that you've done that you think you've faced barriers, or anything that young people have come to you with that I could take away, that would be quite useful.
I'm just thinking, our apprentice, I mean, she's moved on to other things now as our apprentice. She was with us for 4 years.
Yeah.
And she really came on in that time. She came to us at 17 and left us at 21. But she really, at first, she really struggled. She struggled being in a work environment. There were a lot of personal life stuff going on for her at that time that were massive for her. And I remember sitting with her one day, just as an example, I remember sitting with her one day, and she's in floods of tears. And she said, "I'm depressed and I've got anxiety." So I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "So has your GP diagnosed your depression and anxiety?" She went, "Well, no." I said, "So who's diagnosed you?" And she said, "Well, I have." So there's a lot, like Naveed said, there's a lot of information out there, and not all of it is good. And, young people particularly are doing a lot of self-diagnosis. And I said, what you do, you feel a bit sad because you've got stuff going on, and you're nervous because you've started a new job. So it's not depression or anxiety, it's sadness and nervousness. And she got that, she understood it, not at that time, but she thought about it and came back to me later and said, if we hadn't have had that conversation, I would have labelled myself.
Yeah.
I've been thinking that. So I think you've got to have really strong support for young people as well around that personal stuff. Naveed?
I was just going to say, for your meeting this afternoon, Megan, it's about the role of parents as well, and how much parents can give that support. And I know a lot of people do, and it's difficult when parents are working. I mean, I only ever really had an issue in my workplace with one work placement person. I don't know if you were there, Tracy, when you were here. His mum kept interfering that he didn't have to ruin his lunchtime.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
this is a work environment. You won't always get your lunch exactly at that time for you to go home.
Yeah.
So they reported me to my boss then. Haha, I'm still here.
I remember that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Jordan.
I was just thinking about so we've had a couple of people come through the hub who were working with the parents on behalf of the child or young person, and they aren't yet, shall we say, ready's probably the wrong word, but ready to go into an alternative provision. But what's going on is they're wanting to go into like an apprenticeship kind of a thing, but still of school age. And we've come across that as a gap. I don't know whether that would benefit you to take it through to the meeting, but there doesn't seem to be any kind of direction or ways to go if someone doesn't want to go into an alternative provision, but isn't necessarily suitable for the school environment, perhaps neurodivergent needs or something along those lines, but are of an age, like, for example, years ago, I know, like, definitely it stopped in about the early 90s, but people would leave school at like 14, 15 and go into an apprenticeship, and there doesn't seem to be that, but there is that gap there, and we have had people come forward in the area going, well, my child doesn't seem to be suitable for the school environment. They don't want to go into an alternative provision. What could be put in place? And I know that's a bigger, huge systemic question, but that's what we've come across. So yeah, just putting that out there.
I will take that back. We are testing the waters with certain employers. With what you've said, it depends on the industry. Age is a big factor, but we're looking at not asking a bigger ask. So a couple of days a week or a day a week where they are taken out of school and they can have that work experience seems to be a more realistic goal, rather than us saying, can they come for a period of the school year and then do it that way.
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, fully agree.
So we'll definitely discuss that.
Yeah,
because it's something we're already looking at. We're just testing the waters with which employers are going to be on board, because we don't want to say to young people, oh, we've got this or we've got, and the employers pull back the word on it. So that's something we're getting set in stone at the moment.
Yeah, that sounds like a way forward, does that, for the young people that, they're not, I'm thinking of myself here again, because I'm very selfish. I didn't want to be at school. I really didn't want to be at school from probably age of 13. And I kicked against that all the way through school. But when I went to college, loved it, absolutely loved it, because I was given the freedom. I could go, it was my choice to go. So I think something that's half and half, like, like Jodie's just been mentioning, and that you mentioned, Megan, about, a couple of days in an employment situation, that'd help the workforce in Burnley massively, I would have thought. And that future proofing, like Naveed's talked about, that future proofing stuff. So fab. So I told you we'd fill time up, but we get there, don't we? We have some interesting discussions, I think. Are you okay with that, Megan? Have you got enough stuff there?
Yeah, does anybody else have anything? If anybody does have any questions or thinks of anything after, you can just let Tracy know and she'll come back to me with it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Tracy.
You're welcome. And don't forget, your members list that you get through every month is updated every month. So everybody's contact details are on there. So if you want to get in touch with Megan direct, you're more than welcome to send me stuff. If you want to get in touch with Megan direct, her contact details are on there. So thank you, Megan. Very interesting conversation.
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to move on. I told you I'd have a strange woman sat next to me. And it's my boss, Christine Blythe, our chief exec.
I'm hiding though.
She's just popped in just because she's never been to a Burnley Links meeting before, and she was frightened of missing out on the party. That's what it is. So she's here now, joining in on the party.
Has Christine got a hat on?
She hasn't. No,
Tracy didn't bring me one.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Everybody missed that memory. Like, it's because I like being the centre of attention of age, you know I do. So it's only me with a hassle.
Love it.
So, David obviously hasn't come. I'm going to email David and see if everything's okay. Because like I said, he should come to People of Pendle as well and didn't. So perhaps something's come up for him. So I'm going to move on to the Burnley Health and Wellbeing Partnership update. And the first thing on here is the Adult Social Care Transformation Fund. If you remember, I talked about some new community connectors working with adult social care and a small funding stream that would run alongside that for some funding for small community groups. We haven't got an update. There is, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that this is going to get moving towards Christmas time. As you know, Lancashire County Council, massive big dinosaur, they're moving glacial time frames, so it's just taking a long time to get this all signed off and sorted, but it is going to happen. We just don't know when. I'll keep you updated. The subgroups updates. I'm part of the Burnley Together steering group, which acts as Burnley Health and Wellbeing Partnership, and it's the last time I let you know that there was 2 subgroups forming, one on housing and respiratory diseases and one on childhood nutrition. And we had our second meeting for the housing and respiratory diseases meeting on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday this week. And now we're formulating an action plan now, because the first meeting was about getting down ideas, what we all do as services, projects, etc., etc. And now we're formulating an action plan on who does what. The major deal that's coming out of it, the major message that's coming out of it, is shared messaging. So, so shared messaging around mold and damp of your house. You know, you can report it in. If you're in rented accommodation, you can report it in. Calico massively want you to report it in because they can't get round absolutely every house. They do try and check every house every 12 months, but it can occur anytime. So if you've got it, if there's any of your clients or your beneficiaries living in a Calico house or any other housing provider, I would have thought, tell them to report it in, because they do need to come out and check it. What else were there on the? So we're formulating an action plan. It's about communication. We talked about communication and having that uniform communication going out there. So everybody that was at the meeting is talking just like I have, as saying, you know, Calico tenants and any other housing provider, please do report it in. We have got a damp and mold specialist that works at Burnley Council. Ryan, his name is, lovely chap. And they are, as I'm sure you can imagine, they are massively busy. But it can be reported in. You can be reporting on the website. You can report in by telephone. I've got some leaflets which I'll scan in and I will send out to Burnley Linked members, so you can get it out there and you can contact Ryan, and maybe you can get some leaflets to you if you want some for your beneficiaries. I'll keep you updated on things as they move along. So over to you now. Have you got any? I mean, I asked you for themes. You know, anything that your beneficiaries are coming to. What did we talk about last time? So last time, we talked about a grant program being vital to help support small groups, because you're all taking on a lot of the work that statutory services take. Food banks were seeing an increase in referrals with more families in crisis, and more education is needed on nutrition and how to use the food being given. There was also an increase in referrals from people, mostly women, experiencing domestic abuse, and fuel poverty is a growing concern, and I'm sure that'll happen throughout, you know, as we move through the season and on into winter. So if there's anything that anybody wants to add, we can definitely feed it into the Health and Wellbeing Partnership for Burnley. I'm seeing lots of nods, I'm seeing lots of thoughtful faces, but I'm not seeing anybody with a burning desire to tell me anything.
I can add some stuff in.
Yeah, I bet.
So just on the kind of energy support, so we've got the household support fund that can help with gas and electric vouchers. So that's just an online application through the household support fund. It's not an immediate thing that people can get access to, so it might take a couple of weeks, but there is that there. And then we've got the warm winter packs as well. So any partner can refer in for if anyone's struggling in terms of gas and electric, just to keep them warm during the winter months, you can refer in for that as well.
Yeah. Could you put, I mean, could they email you, Abby, and then you could give them information? Or would you prefer to put somebody else's email address in the chat?
So it's my colleague Ella that deals with all the household support fund stuff. So it's probably our generic contact at Burnley Together. That's the best one to get in contact with.
Yeah.
Everyone should have received the referral documents, how to refer in. But if you haven't, just email contact at Burnley Together and we'll get that across to you.
Yeah, okay. Abby, if you want to send us those referral documents again, we can send it out again after this meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.
Naveed.
Tracy, I'll give you an update unless anybody else wants to go in before me, and I'll keep it very brief. And I'm not on commission. First thing I wanted to tell everybody, we had a diversity festival last week. I'm speaking on behalf of that group, not on behalf of them as representative, but the fact that I'd heard good stuff that's happened in a whole week of events up at Ghana Community Centre, St Matthew's Church, Valley Street. It was a whole week. Don't ask me the details, but I believe it went very well. And this was a bigger and a bigger event based on the fact that the last event that was planned was around the time of the summer protest. So it got delayed for safety, but it turned into something bigger, which was much better. Music festival, theatre performance, a celebratory event, STEM engineering or something like that.
Science stuff, isn't it? That's
it, yeah. So I just wanted to feed that back. I also wanted to let people know that we've had yesterday, Tuesday, Tracy, you were part of this, a Ministry for Local Housing and Communities and Government visit. They came to Burnley, met with some key people, and they're always impressed about with the work that takes place in Burnley. So much that at a point now, we're going to get to a point where we're going to say, please stop coming. Come and see what we're doing, put some funding towards it. And I know they were extra impressed with downtown and the way that it works. So well done, a massive big well done to the community and all the people that were involved and people who deliver the day-to-day services that we were able to talk about my colleagues were able to talk about who attended. So that's my update. There's a cultural survey going out around food. My colleagues asked to circulate, and you'll probably know about this, Abby. So I'm just going to put it in the link, and I can do a circulation. But if people already know, we had a cyber attack on our website yesterday, and there's quite a few press releases around remembrance service, business awards, and lots of stuff that I'll circulate to the group beyond the meeting in one go. And and that's my update. But a very, very important one, which we will circulate, is I don't know, where's the camera? There you go. It's a resident survey about services. So I'll get this circulated. If you want to encourage your service users to report back, feed in, and let us know what we're doing good, what we're doing bad, or what we could do better, that'd be really helpful. Thank you.
Fab, thank you, Naveed. Very succinct. Thank you. I'm just going to go along my screen now, so whatever order, and I'll do mine last because I can I can talk for England. So Megan, are you okay with what you've said, or is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think I'm okay with what I've said for now. I'll probably have more to come back to you with after this meeting this afternoon, if that's all right.
Yeah, fab. Thank you. Thanks, Megan. John, have you got anything you want to update everybody on?
Thanks, Tracy. Not really. We're still carry on working. Bookings are very heavy. We're now into January, and I think we've only got a couple of bookings left in January. So our drop-ins are particularly helpful now because there are lots of things we can do without and help people without them actually sort of signing up for our debt service, just financial planning, cap money, life skills, things that are running at the moment and will continue to run are helping, well, we think, an increasing number of people who are attending. So that's where our focus is really, so that we don't turn people away. We can actually help them with the other services that we run. That's it.
Thank you, John. Ange.
Morning, everybody. I haven't got a specific update, but I'm here to do my my usual plug of our NHS health checks service in the community. So we're commissioned by Lancashire County Council. This is absolutely free of charge, so no cost whatsoever. We've got a mobile vehicle that is completely accessible. It has 2 clinical cubicles, and we can travel about anywhere in the community. We've been to supermarkets, gyms, community centres, bingo halls. We're really not fussy in terms of where we go, as long as we're able to provide a complete accessible service to people who generally don't go to the GP practice. So it is. We are an outreach provider. GP practices are still providing this service day to day, but obviously what we want to do is to supplement the work that that primary care do. So I guess it's just a reach out to everybody. Really, sorry, employers is the other one as well. So Megan, I'm currently talking to Mel, I think in your HR department, to try and do some work for Calico employees. Jodie, we have been to Advocacy Focus. I'm just thinking, Naveed, if there's anything that we can do for council employees. So typically, you know, people can have one of these checks in the workplace without needing to come outside of work and get to the GP practice if they're lucky. So if anyone has got, we've got loads of availability actually for November. So if you do want to have a think and would like to take advantage of the service, or can suggest any venues that might want to have us and have got contact details, then let me know. That would be fab.
Naveed?
I was just going to say, and thank you for that offer. That's really good. I'll speak to our department that kind of does all that stuff. Normally we get Burnley Leisure in, and they are very successful at health checks and welfare checks. So what I'll do is I'll get your details and I'll email our HR department. We can get you in. Why not?
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've done Fowl Council. We're doing 4 days at West Lancs next month. So so it has proved really popular.
Fabulous. I think it's the fact that people don't have to go anywhere. You're just there, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Hassan, is there any scope for parking the bus, for want of a better word, the van, at the Chire Centre?
Well, we've got our own Harry, which does this exactly the same, which goes out whole Lancashire, South Cumbria. So, and I don't know if you know about.
I do, yeah.
Hassan, you've frozen.
It's part of the trust. So we go out whole Lancashire.
Hassan, you keep freezing. So if you switch your camera off, it might just let us have your audio. Sometimes that works.
So we've got our Harry van, which goes out whole Lancashire, South Cumbria. So very similar. We do. In fact, today it's at one of these down in Burnley today doing health checks. So yeah, I think if we could catch up, Angie, that might be good to see what we could work together, maybe.
Yeah, that would be great, Hassan.
Just a bit of update from us from Chire Centre. We've got a new course which we're going to start from next month on 28th of November. It's for new parents, which will be delivered by our perinatal team. It's a 4 weeks course, which will be really helpful. So if you've got any parents, I'll send a post over. So if you want to promote it within your groups or anywhere. Just Chire Centre is getting busy as it is. But if any partners would like to deliver any training sessions in our new term from January to March, we've got a few empty slots. So if you have any ideas, let me know. We could book a room for you to deliver any well-being sessions, or if you have any other ideas that you want to come up with the Chai Centre, please let me know. Thank you.
Fabulous. It's great that it's getting so busy, Hassan. After being, it were quite quiet for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's I like today can't go out. I'm going to find a quiet room.
Yeah, and I can testify that the community garden is absolutely lovely. So if you want a meeting, go up there and have your meeting in the community garden. Even in the cold, put your coats on. It's
Hassan
lovely.
gets toast marshmallows, I'm sure. That's what I've heard on the grapevine, Hassan.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, last week, which I never knew, it was a National Apples Day, which is a thing to look like that. Anyway, it is. And we got all our apples from our garden and working with right after us. So we got the apple juice, made apple juice. And we got fire pit as well. So we made apple crumble outside, which was great. Well, hopefully next week we're going to get the outdoor oven as well, so pizza oven. So we might have a pizza day. Is it National Pizza Day somewhere? I don't know.
Make one. If there isn't one, make one up, Hassan.
Can we not hold a LinkedIn meeting? A linked meeting at Hassan's place with pizza.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, all joking aside, I was going to ask because we did say we'd meet a couple of times a year face to face. So I'm thinking our November meeting might be a good time to meet face to face.
I'm happy to host it.
Are you happy to host it, Hassan? It's
Yep.
the 28th of November at 10, obviously 10 o'clock, and it's usually for an hour and a half when it's face to face. Is that okay with you, Hassan? Do you want to check and then...
I'll check and let you know.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Okay, I'm continuing to go around my screen. Abby, you're next on me squares.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, definitely up for coming to see you. Oh,
sorry.
It's all right. Yeah, definitely up for the in-person meetup in the community garden. That sounds fab. Yeah, yesterday we had a really successful event at downtown. So we had our winter information session. So lots of different partners coming to downtown to share a bit about how they're supporting people through the winter months. And we also gave a presentation on what we're doing to support, what we can offer. So that was really successful yesterday. What else have we got going on at the minute? We've got an event on next Thursday. We've got a Canadian band coming to downtown. So that's completely free of charge for the community. So that's on the 7th of November on Thursday at 7:30. So we're opening late for that one. So yeah, do spread the word about that for anybody that likes music and wants to come along to that. We're still collecting warm winter clothes for our clothes shop. So if you've got anyone who can make any donations there, we're particularly needing men's clothes. So yeah, if you do know anyone who can donate anything or who needs anything, they can come down, and everything in the shop is between £1 and £3. So it's really, really cheap. It's really affordable. We've still got school uniform that's completely free as well. That'll always be free. People do leave a donation if they can, but yeah, that's free. We've got the Christmas toy appeal, so we're starting to promote that as well now. So yeah, again, if you do know any families that are needing some support with Christmas presents this year, just get in contact with us. All the schools in Burnley know about it as well, and that's the best way to refer in, through the school directly. Yeah, I think those are the main things that are happening at the minute, really.
Thanks, Abby. Thank you very much. Tammy. Is she there? Here she is. Hooray.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're all well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi on. So we are getting ready for next week. I think we sent it all out to you. We're having a coffee morning fundraiser supporting mental health in Burnley. We sent our little poster out to, there we go, out to everyone. It'd be great to see you all if you can pop up. That's between 10 and 12, and we have the Burnley Mayor coming in to visit as well. So we're going to have lots of cakes, and it'd be really nice to have a catch up with everyone as well. We've got some great raffle prizes. We've got a signed Burnley Football Club shirt. We've got all sorts, new Wagoners voucher. Burnley Leisure have kindly donated a 3 months anytime membership, other multi-use. We've got loads of different prizes, and we're going to have a raffle as well. So it'd be really nice to see lots of you there. Bring your work colleagues as well. And I think the other thing that we're rolling out at the moment is the entry-level maths. I've taken this to a few places. I will send it over for you, but we've got limited places now. So it's a 4-day course. It's free, lunch provided. We're doing it over 2 weeks. And that's the entry-level maths. So anyone you're working with or supporting who is wanting to get back into that, then this will be ideal. And we're having a nice little celebration day as well around it. So once they've completed the course, there's going to be a £40 voucher, and we're going to do some Christmas crafts as well. So that's going to be a really nice one. So I'll send that over again. But as I said, we've got limited places left on that. Give us a contact, take the details. So that's all for us for the time being. But yeah, it'd be nice to see you. Okay.
Fabulous. Thanks, Tammy. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jodie.
Oh, I couldn't get myself off mute then. It's always something with me. So we continue to open up, obviously, down on Hargreaves Street, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 10 till 2 for any drop-ins. You can get one-to-one support with an advocate. It's getting much more busier at the moment. We've had a lot more people. When you were saying about what kind of things we're getting coming through, we're getting a lot more people come through. I suppose it's the time of the year, stating that they're homeless and asking for support about that. So yeah, as a whole, we're busy, which is brilliant. I'm absolutely not complaining. Lots of different things, lots of different things that we're assisting with. Yeah, that's it really. Just 10 till 2, send people our way, definitely. Yeah.
Be careful what you wish for, Jodie.
Not too many people. No, send them, definitely.
Fab. Thank you, Jodie.
That's okay.
Uzma.
Hello. So we've got Super Slow Way is sort of wrapping up for the winter really. We've not got too much, and we have got some activities. We have got on the 5th of November, I know it's Blackburn, but we've got an alternative bonfire, so there'll be no fireworks, but it'll be sort of like storytelling around a little fire, but no fireworks, so it's sort of suitable for anybody who has, who's sort of triggered by loud sounds or whatever, and obviously pets are always welcome. In Burnley, we started our Share Prosperity project at the Chai Centre, and I wasn't there at the Apple Festival last week, but I was there the other week, and it was great. We had toasted marshmallows. Navid, you completely missed out. They were the best. And we're starting those sessions sort of from next week informally, and then we'll start to run them on Thursdays, but they are with a set group. The set group is from sort of Age UK and then the Bengali women's group there. We're also then taking the second element of that will be to work with Shine coaching. So we're working with men who have additional sort of mental health needs and who was like sort of seeking some sort of coaching, but taking them out onto the canal, getting them to appreciate nature and then coming back and maybe writing about that, sort of addressing various elements in that. And then the third part of that will be to run some cycling sessions at Danes House Community Centre. So several years ago, a lot of the children there were given some bikes, but they've never really used them. They don't know how to repair them. So we're working with Breaking Cycles, Phil from Breaking Cycles, and he'll be coming and doing some repair work and then taking them on the canal and getting them more confident around, cycling on roads and in, along the towpath and things like that. So that's sort of happening imminently. I'm not sure we'll be opening that up to the wider group, but if you have got somebody who that would be really suitable for, drop me a line and I'd be happy to have a conversation about that. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Uzma. Lots going on as usual. So just a quick update from me. Christine, our chief exec, works closely with Lancashire Association of CVSs. And there'll be a new project which will be linked to our Volunteering for Health and Community Hub. Michelle would be here today, but she's not well. and which will work across Lancashire. And we, Christine in particular, continues to represent all of us, the voluntary community and faith sector at county level and beyond. So hoping to influence and bring more funding into the area. Like Naveed said, I was at the meeting on Tuesday with the, what is it called, Naveed? The Ministry for
Local Housing, Communities and Government.
That's the one. And I talked a lot about funding, and like Naveed said, you know, you can keep coming and talking to us, but, you know, chuck some money at us, because that's what we need really to carry on doing the good work that we're doing. And that's a lot of the stuff that Christine does at that higher strategic level. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. We were involved in the Diversity Festival. It went really well at Ghana Community Centre. We had world music at Ghana Community Centre, and everybody went away happy. Oh, it is our 90th anniversary next year. I know we don't look old enough, do we? But it is our 90th anniversary next year. I have submitted an expression of interest for Heritage Lottery funding. But despite that, even if we don't get that funding, we will be doing quite a lot of stuff. So keep your eye out for stuff in social media from January, and stuff on our website and our newsletters. If you're not signed up for our newsletter, please do. Go to our website, www.bprcvs.co.uk, and you can sign up there. What else? I think that's about it. I am involved in Lancashire Armed Forces Covenant Network now. Some of you might already be involved in that. If you're not and you'd like to be, whiz me an email and I will talk to the organisers and get you involved in that. It is a really good session. It's held once a month, and it's just like us. It's just for an hour or so. And it is specifically around armed forces, veterans, those that are still in the armed forces, their families, etc. So it's kind of focused on that. So it's a little bit like this, but focused on that. So so if you want to be involved in that, please do whiz me a line. My fabulous monitoring and evaluation workshops are continuing. If you haven't been to one yet, you're missing out on another party, because obviously everything that drops out my mouth is gold dust, and all the advice and all that I give. So if you want to book on one of them, please do whiz our Lorna a line. I know, Osma, stop laughing. If you whiz our Lorna a line and get yourself booked on to one of the dates. I'm always putting new dates on, so if you can't make any of the dates that are available now, please do. It's really handy. I know, all joking aside, it is really handy for even if you're really well versed in monitoring, evaluating projects, you've project managed, you've done all that for years and years, there's always something new to learn, and you can share your experience with the people that are there as well. They're done online at the moment to make it easy for people. I usually put in about 2.5 hours, but you get an hour back. You get an hour to go and eat chocolate biscuits in a corner somewhere, or go and walk around block, or just go and sit on your own and breathe for a bit. It doesn't take that long, usually an hour, just over maybe, depending on what conversations we have. So please do book yourselves on if you've not been. I think that's it. Boss, do you want me to mention anything else?
It's all right.
Do you want me to mention anything else?
Probably just to say, some of you may be aware that the government have announced a new covenant for working with civil society, and there is a survey being sent out which they're asking everyone to complete by mid-December. So as soon as we get that link, we'll be sending it out to everybody who we're connected with, and hopefully they will be able to feed all that back up. That is being conducted through NAVCO, which is the National Association of Voluntary Community Action, and I work with them very closely on trying to influence government. And there's also stuff coming out from NCVO, which is the National Council of Voluntary Organisations. So we're connected into all those, trying to make sure that your voice is being fed into as the government move forward with a new framework of how they're going to work with the sector. And we've also got that similar conversation going on with the Integrated Care Board about how they should work with the sector in Lancashire and South Cumbria. and that's through the Election Safe Cumbria Voluntary Community Faith Sector Alliance. Everything is long words, but anything you want to feed in for a lot of what the information gathered through these meetings and forums, Tracy can feed that all into me so that I can be your voice with some real evidence that it's come from real people and not something that we're making up. So anything you can support us with to support ourselves and hopefully make sure that the huge value that is brought from our sector to support people is recognised and ultimately ends up in some funding to help us all do what you do fantastically well. So thank you. I don't think there's anything else at this moment in time, but we will make sure that you're kept up to date. So thanks very much for letting me join in and listen to you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, she weren't checking up on me. So, well, thank you, everybody. You know what?
Naveed's got her hand up now.
Oh, Naveed, go on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just
alright.
thought, as you mentioned the veterans, I thought our website's still down because of this cyber attack. But Remembrance Service is taking place on Sunday, 10th of November, and it'll start at 11 o'clock in the Peace Garden if anybody's interested in going along and being part of that event. It's an annual event. And yeah, we'll try and get something circulated. And if you're in the town centre, there will be some road closures. But I will get this circulated, the press release. Thank you.
We're used to that in Burnley Town Centre now. We just go, oh, another road closure. How do I get around that?
Walk into town.
Thank you, Naveed. Anybody else got anything to add before we go our separate ways? I'm looking around my screen. No? Thank you, everyone. It's been a wonderful meeting, as always. We always have a really good time. There's lots of good stuff going on in Burnley. There's lots of good stuff that we all do, and we're all supporting each other as well as supporting the people that come to us for support. So thank you very much. Carry on making those connections outside of this meeting, and we're going to see each other next time in real life. What do you think about it being our Christmas party because we're all together? So we might fetch some fancy biscuits, and I might even put my flashy necklace on and my reindeer ears.
I was going to say, as long as you don't make us wear a Santa hat, I'm in.
No, you can wear what you want.
I'm good. I'm all right then.
Whatever you want. You could have some bauble.
Just doesn't go with my hijab, Tracy. You know this conversation. Yeah.
I think you're wearing a Santa hat now as we speak to you.
I am. That's why I've turned my camera off. It's
exactly.
This has been recorded, so I can't say anything. Better watch myself. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone. I've missed you too. I really have. I'll hope see you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.